Americans for Fair Taxation presents the Weekly Chairman's Report, written by Steve Hayes, president of Americans for Fair Taxation, and recorded by Bob Paxton, a volunteer with the Florida FAIRtax Educational Association. And now, this week's Chairman's Report.
Hello, I'm Bob Paxton with the AFFT Chairman's Report for Friday, May 3rd, 2024. Congressman Buddy Carter, Republican from Georgia, is the sponsor of H.R. 25, the FAIRtax bill in the House of Representatives. He's also a tireless advocate for the FAIRtax. The following is the text of a press release issued by his office. Representatives Earl L. Buddy Carter, Republican, Georgia, and Andrew Clyde, Republican, Georgia, today introduced a resolution declaring April 16th, the day after Tax Day, as FAIRtax Day. H.R. 25, the FAIRtax Act, is a bill that would replace the current tax code with a national consumption tax, eliminating both the Internal Revenue Service and Tax Day. By establishing a national FAIRtax Day to come directly after the United States traditional tax day, this resolution signals a readiness to begin a new, fair process that gives the people power over their paychecks. Americans spend over 6 billion hours per year filing their taxes. Now, instead of putting your hard-earned dollars directly into Uncle Sam's pocket, the FAIRtax allows you to keep 100% of your paycheck, and you choose how much you pay in taxes every year. It's a simple, fair, and preferred alternative to the current income tax system, which punishes success and puts unelected bureaucrats in charge of your paycheck. Let's make April 15th, 2024 our last tax day ever. It's time for a change, and FAIRtax Day will raise awareness about this popular Georgia-grown proposal, said Representative Carter. The FAIRtax would not only create a simplified and fair tax code for all Americans, but would also foster economic prosperity and eliminate the need for the IRS, which has become weaponized. As a staunch supporter of Representative Carter's FAIRtax Act, I'm proud to join my fellow Georgian in raising awareness of this common-sense legislation by introducing a resolution to recognize April 16th as FAIRtax Day, said Representative Clyde. First introduced into the U.S. Congress in 1999 by former Georgia Congressman John Linder, the FAIRtax is the leading tax reform movement in the country. This proposal would abolish all personal and corporate income taxes, along with it the death tax, gift tax, and the payroll tax. And it also eliminates the need for the IRS. The FAIRtax would repeal the current tax code and replace it with a single national consumption tax that is pro-growth and allows Americans to keep every cent of their hard-earned money. It's the only tax system that is simple, efficient, friendly to economic growth, non-discriminatory, unintrusive, and fair. In conclusion, the recent revelations about the IRS using artificial intelligence to invade the privacy of Americans without any legal basis and the increasing awareness that the present income payroll tax system is broken is resonating across America. The solution? Pass the FAIRtax. Now, why would D.C. pass the FAIRtax and give up an almost unlimited source of donations? Well, they won't, at least not voluntarily. The only way they will is if the rest of us demand it. Isn't it time to end this ludicrous tax collection system and the IRS along with it? Now, there's going to be a vote on the FAIRtax in the House of Representatives. We now have the opportunity to force all members of the House to show where they stand. They can vote for the present income payroll tax system, or they can vote for the FAIRtax. They can support the corrupt income tax in the IRS, or they can vote to eliminate it. It can't be any simpler than that. They can hide the true cost of their government, or they can pass the FAIRtax and show everyone the true cost of government on every retail receipt. And finally, they can support the largest transfer of power from government to the people, the FAIRtax, or they can vote against it. Now, if members think the FAIRtax needs to be amended to address a problem, then they can propose the change. Don't let them get away with rejecting the entire bill because it has a perceived flaw that can be addressed, and if it's really a flaw, that can be corrected in the final bill. And don't think for an instant there aren't any flaws in the income tax. Help us bring about real tax reform and stop future IRS abuses. By contributing/investing $10.40 a month, you help provide a financial base to Americans for fair taxation. Now, if you can make larger contributions/investments, these will be used not for salaries, as we're all volunteers, but for the needed updates to our economic studies, which will be vital for all future years. Please go to FAIRtax.org and invest in AFFT. Help us pass the FAIR tax. It's an investment in your and your family's future.
This has been the Weekly Chairman's Report, written by Steve Hayes, President of Americans for Fair Taxation. Check back every week for news and information about the fair tax, and learn why the fair tax should replace our antiquated federal income tax system. If you'd like to receive a copy of the Chairman's Report in your inbox every week, sign up at FAIRtax.org.